should serve creative intent rather than the other way around, that's a conversation I think every creator on this stream needs to hear. And of course, Netta's project has me genuinely moved already. The idea of rewriting the stories we teach children so they grow up with a fuller picture of history, that's the kind of work Artisan exists to fund. How are you feeling, Renee? Hawaii
Uh,
sounds like it's already doing its job.
I'm feeling so much better now that I got my face lanced and got fresh antibiotics. Thank God for antibiotics. Getting an infection is no joke. It's really, really quite miserable. And it makes you think about how lucky we are that humans are so darn creative that they can solve things like, coming up with penicillin and this whole wave of antibiotics. I know a lot of people are anti-antibiotics, but when you need it, it's really good to have. But anyways, I see that Netta has figured out how the screen share works. So let's pass it back over to Netta, and I'm going to go back into like focused listen mode. Tell us all about retelling history to change reality.
I'm always solving that. As you can see, I'm an educator. I used to working on the ground with people and not with computers. So thank you for your patience. So as I said, I asked of you all to think about this text you wish someone has taught you when you were younger. So I want to share one text that was this for me, that I wish I learned when I was younger. And this text, I'm quoting, "We were wary of what seemed to us to be prejudices shared by them and all white settlers wherever they were. We were surprised that the Israeli Jews felt no kinship with the Arabs. It seems that everything outside their community was, in their eyes, of course, Gentile or Ishmaelite, and that we, Sephardic Arab Jews, were somehow flawed because of our association with this stepbrother, the Arabs. The arrogance, of the guys and most of the people who showed us around, their inability to let their achievements speak for themselves, and the tone of superiority that they had when comparing themselves with other people, all this aroused a kind of mockery. Now, this text was written by this amazing feminist, Jacqueline Shohat Kahanov, in the year of 1937. And even though I was already an activist, I was already an educator for years, I only discovered this text a few years ago. And this text was one of these texts of, aha, why didn't I learn this in history classes when I was younger? But it's not only this text, it's like texts from Arab Jews about how the Zionist mechanism is violent towards Palestinians and how this is the first problem in our history, in the way we create our history. It was this amazing feminist and journalist that she called herself a Hebrew Arab feminist when it was only 1909, way before all the European feminists started writing about these things. She wrote, and by the way, Esther and Shimon Moyal, they wrote in Arabic, talking to the Palestinian partners, the natives of the land where I come from. It was for me not only text, it was the first time I saw a picture of, for example, the complete destruction of Manshia, a village near Jaffa. It was texts of feminists like Vicky Shiran who taught me about internalizing racism and how to unlearn it, how to heal from it. It was me learning at a young age, but not young enough, about our very local Black Panthers who talked about distributive justice and how we should do it with everyone in this land, and were called leftists, as if it was a bad thing. It was also for me finding the stories of my own family, the stories I was not told for so many reasons, for reasons of shame and reasons of fear. And these stories are so important for my growing process, because these stories became the tool, the main tool to reclaim my history, to reclaim my people's history, but also to have the capacity for other people's stories. So I did what I know how to do. I researched and I started reading a lot, and I created this tour focusing on Arab Jews in Jaffa before 1948, who challenged the Zionist hegemony. And by doing so, they became like an enemy to the way they wanted to tell history. And so their story, my story, was erased from the books, and for a very good reason. And with this notion, I went forward and created this tour for people to just walk around all the beautiful places in Jaffa and other places and seeing the world, the place in a slightly different way. And more than this, a story that made me ask, and I hope you will ask the same question as well, was another reality ever really possible? And is it still possible? Because we also want to look to the future. It's been told that in order to change reality itself, sometimes we need to start by changing the way we tell reality. And this is what this project is all about. I want to end with a more personal, not pitchy note. Some of you might know it, that we come from a bleeding, a burning place, the place that is called by some Israel, Palestine, occupied Palestine. And for us, it's not about like a touristic storytelling. It's about reclaiming our histories to survive and to create a better reality. And for those of us who will be lucky enough, we will live to see the day after. We don't know when it will be, but it will come. And this will be a day of processing and acknowledging and healing, but also so much rebuilding will have to do. And we cannot wait for this after. We need to start this work now, even yesterday, this work of political imagination, of critical thinking, and practicing hope. So I encourage you all to do that, because these kind of things happen everywhere. Do it as parents, do it as educators, as activists, as humanists, just as human beings. Just do it wherever you are. Reclaim your stories. Don't let these stories get erased. And if you did think about a text or about a picture that had this aha moment for you that you wish you were taught at a younger age, please share it with me, so we can widen our net of retelling history to change reality. Bless you all. תבורכו. Allah يعطيكم العافية.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Netta. I am so grateful to have you as part of our community. And let me pull up your project on screen so everyone can just look at it and soak it up and hopefully put some money into it. But I just did. So this is retelling history to change reality. I just put in $50 and that unlocked $150 and got you a little bit extra prize money. Really, really hope people support this project. One more time, it's retelling history to change reality. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your lovely work, and what a beautiful, beautiful presentation.
Thank you, Renee.
While we have you here, since you are now in the raffle, let me and I think we can do a raffle poll now if it works. Let me share my screen one more time, and let's see if we can do a live raffle pool. All right, I'm gonna spin it on my side. Let's see if it works. Okay, the dial is spinning. 4, 9, 1, 2. We're opening the door, And Felix Fritsch won with Valley of the Commons, which is amazing because Laron's going to be coming and on the stream later to talk about this event that we're doing. But so happy that that project won. All right, we're going to do a couple more pulls from the vault later in the stream. Maybe you'll win one of those, Netta. But regardless, big love to you. And let's pull up our next creator, Hannah. Hello, Hannah. How are you
Hi.
doing?
Hello, I'm great. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great, and I see that you've got
Wonderful.
your presentation all queued up. Thank you so much for doing that.
Of course.
Let's see. Let's just touch base with Venus. Maybe she can do a quick introduction to who you are and your project, because I think it's always good to have a hype man. So hype up Hannah and her project, and then Hannah can take it away.
Let me think about that. Ooh, good question. Let me sit with it. Hannah, I love this project. The Fire Between Us connection cards. This is about creating real human connection through conversation, the kind that actually bridges difference and builds intimacy. Hannah is a facilitator and creator who understands that the right question at the right moment can change a relationship forever. These cards are designed to spark those moments. It's the kind of tool that sounds simple but can genuinely shift how people relate to each other. Hannah, the stage is yours. Tell us everything.
All right, Hannah, take it away.
Yeah, excellent. So happy to be here with you all today. So I'm bringing to you guys the art that we've created with The Fire Between Us, which is a connection card game. So my partner and I, my beloved, made this deck, and thanks to the money from the last season of Artizen, we were actually able to produce our first 500 decks and start getting them into people's hands. And now there's iteration and testing and other things happening with it. And so I'm here to take you on a journey of what The Fire Between Us is. So we love conversation card decks. As a couple, I used to play them with all of my friends, bring them to retreats and gatherings. And we really wanted a deck that would move gently and bring people into deeper layers of connection and end with some embodiment. And we really couldn't find that deck that we were longing for. And so that's where The Fire Between Us came to be. And so we all know that in the age of AI, like we have endless ways to reach each other, right? But I think nowadays it's becoming more and more rare to actually have moments of truly meeting one another and really looking into somebody's soul. And personally for me, I'm tired of the small talk. I'm tired of the, hey, what do you do for work and where did you grow up? And those things are really important. And I want to get to know even deeper layers of somebody's soul. And so this game is really built to help facilitate that. So I think nowadays we can see that, life can become logistics. There's a lot of scheduling. I personally tend to live out of my calendar sometimes, and we're on our screens a lot. And my vision is that people really return to the deeper energy and connection between friends, between lovers, between strangers, between groups, and they ask the questions that are underneath the surface. So we like to say less scrolling and more feeling. So what we have are 80 hand-drawn cards across 4 levels that make one conscious arc. So you have level 1, level 2, level 3, and then an embodied integrate level. So the levels are called reveal, seduce, and devour. None of them are sexually explicit. They are all meant to just truly connect people with sensations, deep memories, and longings and desires. And so each of these cards, each of the level cards was hand drawn, and it feels really silky. So we got this really amazing matte touch to the cards that's super soft when you hold it, which we had to search far and wide to find this specific type of matte. And then some of the box was made with AI, and we used prompting from Midjourney, showcasing like the feminine anatomy and goddess-like structure of the box. And it's really meant to draw people in. So the questions begin slowly. So we're not going to ask the deepest questions right away. So in level 1 reveal, you might get a question such as, what do you love about yourself? That can be answered solo, or if you're with a group, you're asking that to the group and you're hearing what people love about themselves. It then moves deeper into level 2, and then level 3, we might have something such as, what narrative do you carry about being worthy of love? And these questions are really deep. They ask for vulnerability. There's some shadow work in there as well. And any point during the game, it was really important to us that people could come back to their bodies, take a pause, take a breath, and that's what the integrate cards are for. And so an integrate card could be something such as, what was one sensation you felt while playing this game? It might be a question like, take 3 deep breaths with the group. It might be a prompt such as, hold silence for 30 seconds. What did this experience awaken in you? How can you choose to tend the flame between the players? There's all kinds of questions to really bring it back into the body, which we felt was really missing from these other connection card decks. When we were playing them, it was like they would end and it's like, oh, well, what now? So this is a big differentiator that we were really looking forward to bring into the world. And just wrapping up here, I mean, when you think about who this is for, I think it's for anybody. I think this is great for both solo and couples. I think it's an amazing double date game. It's a great way to get to know the couple that you're going to dinner with. The card deck itself, we're selling it for $40. It's cheaper than a dinner with couples, and I would like to think that it's maybe eliciting some of those deeper conversations that may emerge over a regular dinner. It's great for groups, retreats, conscious gatherings. And a little bit about who made this. It's my partner, Danny, and myself. And we like to think that we are the perfect people to be bringing this to the world. So I focus on human design readings, conscious language, and integration coaching. And I'm also going through an 800-hour tantric relationship and embodiment coaching certification. And then Danny is a breath worker, a community builder, runs the weekly ecstatic dance in Boulder, and also is a relationship mentor and does men's work and coaching as well. So we're bringing forward what we're truly passionate about in our daily lives. And I will leave you guys with this. So the product is really the questions, right? But the art is what happens to two people and what happens in that space in between. So my biggest desire is to bring more honesty, more play, and more aliveness to the spaces in between people. So thank you for listening, and thanks for the opportunity, Renee.
Beautiful. What an amazing project. I'm so excited to get to know you and Danny more. I did one of Danny's breathwork classes on
Yeah,
our Friday Reset and Rise session that E brought to
amazing.
the table.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's very special. He knows what he's doing.
Yes.
Um, and you've been killing it so far in season 7. You've raised over $40,000. Can you maybe briefly say, like, what are you going to do with the money that you're raising this season? Like, I guess execute on the vision you
Yes.
just shared with us.
Yes, we're so excited. So this money is going to allow us to fund our second purchase order. So instead of 500 decks, we're going to order 2,000. It's going to help us fund ads to the community. We're going to put gold foiling on the back of the cards, not only the front. And then we're also expanding this product line. So outside of the fire between us, we're going to make decks called the dance between us, the grief between us, the memories between us, and the energy between us. And it's going to be ways for people to really feel into those moments. So going beyond couples, we imagine this being a family card deck that gets to sit anywhere from the dining table to the game room. And yeah, we're super excited for the expansion decks, and we're working on those now, and everything's going to be hand drawn. We won't do any AI on the box this time. So yeah.
I love it. Well, it's good to have that human touch. And while we have you, let's do one more spin, shall we?
Let's do
And
it.
I just bought some artifacts from your project, so you're in the
Thank
running.
you.
Let's see what we get. All right, the dial is spinning. 5, 7, 4, 7. We're opening the vault. And Akasha. Oh, another amazing project. I'm so glad Akasha won. Okay. Thank you, Hannah, for being
Thank
an
you.
amazing human. And
Yeah.
up next, we've got Keegan, who is one of our fund directors, who's going to be talking to us about the Earth School Fund. So let's pull up your thing. There we go. This is your slide deck. Does this look good, Keegan?
It sure does. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great. All right, buddy,
Great.
take it away. Tell us all about your amazing fund.
Sweet. Aloha, artisans. So my name is Keegan, and I'm a professional free spirit. I would say is the best label, one of the better labels to describe what do I do. So I'm always riding the wind, exploring the world, and living life to the fullest, being a part of the solution. And so I'm just going to start this little presentation out with a quote. The beginning is near. When the earth is ravaged and the animals are dying, a new tribe of people shall come onto the earth from many colors, classes, creeds, and who by their actions and deeds shall make the earth green again. They will be known as the warriors of the rainbow. So I identify as that. We are the ones we've been waiting for. This is the time for us to make the earth green and good again. At Artizen, I'm so happy about the practical support that's being brought for people to bring forward their freedom, express their freedom of expression to the fullest. And in order for us to continue to do that, we're going to have to go back to basics also in these times. So those of you who may not know about Bill Mollison, which is the author of the other quote here, he's the founder, creator of permaculture, which is essentially an indigenous revival, remembering how we can be conscious stewards of the earth and create more abundance, more diversity. And that's ultimately what the Earth School Fund for Living Villages is all about. So Bill Mollison says, though the problems of the world are increasingly complex, the solutions remain embarrassingly simple. So yeah, presenting to you the Earth School Fund for Living Villages to activate projects that help people learn by growing regenerative community together. So before I get a little more deeply into what exactly is the fund, I want to just share, a bit about my story. And so this is the spirit behind the fund. I'm going to show you some of these pictures. My journey with permaculture began in 2012 in Croatia at the home of a Dutch family that moved down there. And that's in the top left, Peter. He's the man of the house there. that's not the house that they live in. That's a guest place. They have a eco camping, and that's where I was introduced to permaculture and read The One Straw Revolution by Masanobu Fukuoka and began my journey. The next step being going to take a permaculture design course, which I would recommend for anyone, no matter if you're interested in agriculture per se or not. A permaculture design course is an amazing experience to help you with your designing, conscious designing, and just an amazing sense of connection and belonging as humans on the earth. So that second picture on the right next to Peter is of Punta Mona in Costa Rica, where I took my design course back in 2013. And there I am next to a palm tree harvesting coconuts with a ladder there. Below that, I have a picture from one of the permaculture action tours, which I was a part of. That was the Polish ambassador pushing through the pavement permaculture action tour in 2014. And the following year, I joined this organization, which you see on the left, Blooming Biodiversity, to do our own permaculture action tour. And that was all down the west coast of the United States and then into Peru and over to Bali, which is where the photos at the bottom of this slide are from. There's the gathering actually that was part of the New Earth Festival in 2017. And they did one of the traditional monkey chants that the Balinese people do. And on the right is the bamboo house where I was hosted. My lifestyle of choice has been to find opportunities where I can trade work for accommodation and have learning experiences that involve cultural exchange and regenerative agriculture. So this bamboo house was actually at a okra farm, and it was a Japanese Balinese family that hosted me. And you can just see there at the bottom, the host, you can just see his face under the tree, and next to him is a French man that was also volunteering with me. So this is the type of amazing adventure. That's just a little sampling. I've been, since 2012 on this journey, and it's been so rewarding, being of service to this movement of permaculture, of going back to our roots, of stepping into conscious stewardship to make the earth more green and good again and more diverse, and to meet our needs and use less energy. So there's 6 principles that guide the fund, the Earth School Fund for Living Villages. And so those principles are action-based learning. So doing hands-on experiences where people can learn by building, growing, collaborating, which is one of the other principles there over on the right, intentional collaboration. And the networks that I've used to find these opportunities are, WOOF, Worldwide Opportunities on Organic Farms, Workaway, HelpX, and there's a certain amount of, I guess, looseness that could be cleaned up with those. And my intention with the Earth School Fund is to bring that kind of collaborative exchange network and dynamic to a higher level of intentionality. And so that's what some of these other principles are about. Of course, we have regenerative practice. So the projects in the fund all involve regenerative agriculture or ecological restoration in some way, shape, or form. And speaking to the greater level of intentionality and ultimately, preserving freedom in a world where there's a constriction on our freedoms, we can move in the opposite direction towards greater freedom by implementing our own self-governance, by having a strong relationship and partnership with the earth to provide for ourselves the things that we need to live and truly thrive and have connections. So the self-governance piece is very important. Any projects in the fund are going to have their decision-making processes and just bring a greater level of consciousness, awareness, and intentionality to how we collaborate. And then also producing knowledge that can be shared with the broader global community. And a living village, as you saw in this slide, Punta Mona in the top middle is a village, but that's the only buildings, that there. So a village could be bigger or small. It could be only 2 or 3 people, So I encourage all of you, even if you just have a vision or an idea for a project, to collaborate with the Earth School Fund. You don't necessarily have to have access already to a place or a project that's already going. So I wanted to say that. So far, we have 6 approved projects and have raised $20,000, which is amazing, in 5 different countries. So I just want to share. These are the big ones that have raised the most so far. Social agroforestry on the Artizen platform is the Los Higuerones Cooperativo down in Costa Rica. So this is amazing education and, doing all the things that I'm describing in their local community, cultivating connections. Big ups to Los Higuerones and super biodiverse place, and they're making it even more abundant and delicious there. Plant a more regenerative community in the Canary Islands. This is a special collaboration with Artizen. Also, they have a leadership training coming up that's very exciting at the end of next month. So they're doing a lot of work with emotional alchemy and helping people to master their emotions, and also working with this connection with the land to regenerate it and their local culture. So those are the big hitters so far in our fund, and challenge other projects to rise to their level. Here are the other 4 that have been admitted so far. Urban Ecology is also working with local community to create green spaces in Brazil. Adopt a Tree has a school-based tree nurseries. They're putting tree nurseries in schools and helping kids to have tree planting initiatives. That's in Kenya. The Living Village is an event that's coming up pretty soon up in Canada. And this is a visionary event to create this type of movement and to create a permanent village settlement there.
Love it.
Yeah, and the other one is Kenya. This is Jeffrey, who I've been friends with Jeffrey on Facebook for several years, and he's always looking. Hey, Keegan, can you help me with some money for my farm project in Kenya? And now finally, I'm community fund director here on Artizen, that I can actually welcome in and help provide funding to that. So I'm super grateful for that. And those are the projects that are so far. We've had a bunch more that have submitted. like I said, self-governance is a key point to that. So I want to be in communication with projects that to help them meet that requirement for self-governance. And also I want to mention we're looking for one other curator for this fund. So there's a wonderful woman, Jolene, over in Minnesota, who's helping me go through curating these projects and helping to activate them. And so we're looking for one other. And otherwise, welcome you to apply or to donate.
All right. And so that's the Earth School Fund for Living Villages. Keegan, thank you so much for being a part of our community and stepping up to apply with this fund and now running it and pulling in amazing projects. You're doing a fantastic job. I just put in some money to the fund myself. Excited to see it grow. And now that you're having creators unlock that money in there, you're going to have to really rally your community to start putting money into the fund, boosting it up so that you can recharge and replenish it. But again, thank you, Keegan, for being a part of our community. And I think with that, let's, while you're here, because it's always fun to have an audience, let's do another spin of the vault and see who wins. We've only got like 15 minutes left in the fund drive. So this might be the last one we do. Okay, we're opening the vault. Let's see who wins. Michelle won. All right, another amazing project. So glad that Michelle won. Congratulations to Michelle. And let's bounce over to the leaderboard real quick just to get an update on where things are at. We are rounding the corner. We had some movement on the fund leaderboard. The Zanzalu Fund for Future Innovation came in with a big $3,000 sponsor that rocketed them to the top of the leaderboard. Congratulations to them. Still 16 minutes left. Anything can happen. And here we still have the same lineup. Mostly, La Maison Passerelle has shot up to number 5. So we've had some movement there, but we'll see. You can never tell. There might be some of these projects way down the leaderboard that are really aiming for the number 1 spot, and they might just be coming in at the last minute with a big backer or a big dump of boost points. We'll see. But with that, let's move on to our next guest, which I believe is Lorenzo. Do we have Lorenzo here? Let's see. We do. I'm going to pull them up. And I've got some videos that I can upload. Lorenzo, how are you doing, my friend? Hi. I got a thumbs up from Lorenzo. That's good. That's always a good sign.
Yeah. Ooh, here we go. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great. Now, would it
Nice.
make more sense?
Can we pull up Mashed also? She's my team member.
Yes,
from the
absolutely.
Palestine Days.
Let's
Nice.
get them up here too. We'll get everybody up here. There we are. Hi.
Hello, hey.
Good to see you all.
Good to see
now,
you too. Thank you for having us.
You have some videos that we're going to play, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
have you already uploaded them? And if so, what's the name of them so I can pull them up onto the screen? And if not, I downloaded the ones that you sent over to Lorenzo so I could do it on my end.
Yeah, so there are 3 videos. The first one is Bethlehem Horizontal Live Showcase.
I see it right here.
Yeah, exactly. We'll play it in a second. And then the other one is called Final Pitch Video. And then there's Antenne live streaming, like pre-recorded performance.
Amazing. I think we're going to pull one of these in later. So we're going to do one now and then one later. At least that's what's on my run of show, I believe. So if that jives with what you got going, let's rock it. So do you want me to go ahead and play the first one, or do you want to introduce it?
We'll just introduce ourselves.
Nice.
Yeah, quickly.
Okay.
So I am. Go ahead.
I go ahead. Okay, so guys, we have like 9 minutes to go until the fund drive closes. Palestine Music Space is on number 8. Just saying, if you like anything that you're about to see, please boost us up. We can.
I'm putting some money in and boosting right now.
Nice, Mush. Please tell us about this incredibly beautiful project that you started.
Yeah, it's a labor of love, really. So I am Majd Hajjaj. I come from Ramallah, Palestine. And me and Lorena are part of the Palestine Music Space founding team. That was the Palestine Music Space was founded in the middle, just before the genocide on Gaza started. And we'll leave you with a short video and we'll take it from there.
Yeah. I think the video's stuck.
Yeah, is it playing for you guys? It seems to have frozen for me.
Rose.
Oh man. Come on, little video. There we go. Or not. Here, let me see if maybe if I upload it.
If there's work, we can go straight into the pitch.
I think
Yeah, if you can play it from your side, it would be perfect.
No guarantee. I'll start by adding the pitch video now, and we'll see if it works. And I'll also upload the video on my end too, because I did download it. And we'll see if the internet likes us today.
فضاء فلسطين قدر إنه يوفر لي هاي الفرصة وهاي المساحة اللي بدي إياها. من وقت ما تعرفت عليه صرت تقريبا دائما فيه، صرت أعتبره حرفيا بيت الثاني. بمرق من الحواجز وأنا عارفة إني رايحة أعمل شغلة بحبها وما بخلي هاي الشغلة تأثر علي، بالعكس أنا بحس حالي هون إنه أنا إنسانة قوية أكتر.
أنا صرت جزء من فضاء فلسطين، إنه بوفر كتير شغلات زي آلات.
Oh no, did it stop again?
وحتى تدريبات إنه كفرق جديد حابة تتعلم بتوفر كل شيء.
اللي بقدم لنا إياه فضاء فلسطين للموسيقى مش بس مساحة، يعني غير هيك اللي هو المجتمع، إنه إحنا خصوصا كفلسطينية أكتر من أي وقت لازم نكون قراب ونساعد بعض.
بعرف كل شي ولا شي بس حابة أعيش إني مش هدي.
قدم لنا مكان نجتمع فيه، نتدرب فيه، نسجل فيه، أعطانا الدعم والتشجيع اللي كان لازمنا إنه نطلع في أي مشروع لازم للموسيقى.
Come back video, come back.
فإذا حدا بده يمارس موسيقى ثانية ما كان في مساحة للواحد زي مثلا الجاز الروك، فما كانش في عندي مجال إنه أروح على مكان يسمح لي إنه أتدرب وأمارس هاي الهواية تبعتي.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
We made it through the video with it only pausing a couple times. The last time I was in Ramallah was back in 2008, and I met up with a friend of mine who's an amazing computer animator in Ramallah, and I had a lovely day there. But it's so amazing to see the creative space that you created for musicians. I come from a long line of musicians. There's such a joy and beauty in making music that's so pure and so important.
Thank you, Renee. We'll just tell you how it looks like and where the journey starts at the Palestinian Music Space. So you can imagine like a young musician who loves music, who doesn't know where to go. She's searching for a place that would support her. And one day she comes across a music jam and decides to join in. And her passion, you can see, is undeniable. And the next day she decides to come back again and convince her friends to join along. Some of her friends who sometimes have never even played any music before. And little by little, she found more experienced and more established musicians to practice with and to mentor her and to guide her. And she learns and she becomes a better listener. She plays more confidently with more rhythm. And over the time, she becomes one of the strongest musicians in the group. And eventually, she starts mentoring other people around her, and she forms the first all-girl rock band in Palestine called Hatta, or Kefiye. And that is Zain, and you've just seen her in the video we just played. And for the first time, she felt like she had found a place where she truly, truly belonged. She met other young musicians, each playing different instruments and exploring musical styles and genres she rarely encountered anywhere else. Together with a small group of like-minded musicians, they clicked creatively, and then they learned how to write songs, compose their music, and later they joined a music production course. And before long, you can imagine they were able to record and produce their own original music independently. And what they had always wanted actually was a space that embraced their differences and welcomed the music they chose to create without being forced into any traditional or classical mold. So that space is Palestine Music Space. And we look at it as a home for a community of musicians, and it's built on the spirit of something in Arabic we call al-aune, which is the spirit of mutual giving and mutual support, where everyone contributes what they know and what they can. And the space offers music through education, through a grassroots community impact approach, along with providing all instruments, all equipment and facilities needed for playing, producing, and recording music. We're not a registered organization. We're a group of very passionate musicians and cultural managers. And most importantly, in this space, everything is offered for free and everything is open. And free, I mean free in its message, free in the musical style, and free in the way people choose to learn and create and exchange. And you've just seen the video of the people we work with, who can tell much more about the space than we can. And finally, I want to add that supporting the Palestine Music Space is not just supporting one single music project or one band or one production. It really is an investment in a generation of Palestinian musicians who are present, independent, and free in their voices, investing in artists who can create the music they actually believe in and develop it as a way of connecting with the world despite living under occupation. So thank you for having us here, and donate.
Well, I just put some money in. You guys are doing fantastic this season. I'm so honored to support it. Yeah, keep doing this amazing, important work. And with that, we'll say goodbye to you for now, but you have an open invitation to come back. And I think we'll be playing some more of your videos later in the live stream. But we'll say goodbye for now. And we're going to say hello to my bestie, Leron. How are you doing, hon?
Hi, Milo. I'm doing great. I'm super happy and excited about everything that's happening and to come.
Well, we just entered the final 5 minutes, maybe the final 5 minutes. We'll see if any project makes a play. We got 4 minutes and 30 seconds, and it's very close between Traditional Dream Factory and the Tune In Show. And we might have a dark horse who's gunning for number one. But while we wait for these final 4 minutes, maybe final 4 minutes to play out, why don't you tell us about the amazing event that you are organizing coming up in just a couple of weeks?
Yeah, it's coming up pretty soon, and applications are open now. It's another artisan village, like the one we had not long ago that you were a part of, that was in DWeb camp. So an artisan village is an artisan residency that is part of a bigger event. And this time we're doing something very different from last time. We are having it as part of Valley of the Commons, which is a 4-week event in the Commons Hub. It's a beautiful location in the Austrian Alps with mountains around and a river, and a beautiful big home. And we'll be staying there for 2 weeks out of the 4. And this event is a much slower event. DWeb Camp was super hectic, and this one is much more airy. We have a lot of time for people to work on their things that they brought from before, or for things that will emerge during the residency. And we really invite people to bring their half-baked ideas, their crazy ideas to this space, to brainstorm together, to get help with, and maybe build together and get feedback on. And we have our space within the Commons Hub, a place where we will live together in our own living room, and also a public space, a big, beautiful wooden room that we get to decorate and do whatever we want with. And we have a lot of equipment to use. We have a 3D printer, a laser cutter. We have all the equipment to make parties, and just a place to be super creative.
And can you tell us about what you're looking for when people apply to attend?
Well, we are prioritizing people who can come for the whole 2 weeks, because we are trying to build this container, but it's also possible to come for one of the 2 weeks. And we're looking for creative people doing whatever. It's very, very, very open. And people who connect also to the value of the concept of the bigger event, the value of the commons, like to explore building common goods together, thinking about a better future. The topics of the 2 weeks that we are in, the first is cosmolocal production. So we'll be thinking about mechanisms. And the second one is future living. So imagining a better future. And so yeah, people that connect to this vibe are very welcome to apply. And applications are open until August 19th.
And you go to artizenvillage.com to apply, artizenvillage.com, and apply soon. Yeah, we've only got a couple days left. And speaking of soon, we're in the final minute, and we've had another switcheroo on the leaderboard for funds. Commons Fund for Regenerative Land Practices is back in number 1. And we've had the DeSci Asia Fund jump to number 3. 44 seconds left. This is the moment if anyone's going to be making a play for first to extend the finish. And it is very close between Traditional Dream Factory and the Tune In Show. So we'll see. 30 seconds to go. Is anybody going to make a play? We will find out together. Laurent, how are you feeling? What do you think of this lineup?
Looks pretty solid. I'm very excited for Jay and at the chat to take third place.
Yeah,
and always happy for Traditional Dream Factory that are going super hard and doing amazing this season.
Well, here we go. Final 10, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we are entering the finalization stage, where we've got a 2-minute window where if there's any last-minute purchases that come through, it will reopen. It looks like there's probably not, so I think we can probably call it. Congratulations to Traditional Dream Factory. Congratulations to Tune In Show. Congratulations to Atacha and all of the projects on the leaderboard. You guys nailed it. You killed it. You did amazing. Congratulations to the Commons Fund for Regenerative Land Practices, Zanzalu Fund, DeSci Asia, Living Water Legacy Fund, and all the funds that have pulled in more money for the creators that they love and care about so dearly. Great fund drive. We didn't make it to the 2 million mark this week. We fell short. We'll do better. We'll do better next week. We've got to keep growing. We've got a lot of big, ambitious goals for this season. Where the goal, so you guys know where my brain is at, is in order to grow this to the size that I think we need to hit this season to continue our growth trajectory, we need to be compounding by 3 to 5% growth a week, which doesn't sound like much, but compounding is magical, and it can cut both ways though. So we've got to keep our eye on the prize, so to speak. But Laurent, anything that you want to add to the pitch about the Artisan Village, because I really want people to apply. It's such a special group of people that are coming. I wish I could come. Unfortunately, I'm going to miss this one because I'm going to be still here in Hawaii in deep build mode. There's so much we have to build, Laurent. So much. Like I don't sleep anymore just because I want to build all the time.
You have to sleep, Renee.
I do have to sleep. I'm pretty disciplined. I get 6 hours in a bed. I'm not always asleep for the whole 6 hours, but I force myself to be in bed for 6 hours, which is sort of my sustaining level of like not dying level. But any last pitches about Artisan Village and
yeah,
should come?
Yeah. I want to say we had our post Artisan Village call not a couple of days ago of the last Artisan Village, and it was so heartwarming to see how everyone felt like so excited and connected and inspired by Artisan Village, and so much has come up for people since then, and people are still pumped. And me as well. It's been like such a gift and such a huge inspiration to be part of this space. And I'm sure this event, like the next Artisan Village, is going to be no less than that. We will have like even more time to get to know each other and to draw more inspiration from each other, from the people who are there at the larger event, and also from the mountains and the river. And it's just going to be wonderful. I'm super, super excited. I'm sorry you're not going to be there, but I'm very happy we get to spend some time together in the next one in Portugal. That's
we have 2 other events coming up. We've got Glitch, which is happening in Faytopia in France, and we have Traditional Dream Factory. We're hosting an event there, an artisan house there, and I will be at both of those. They're luckily they're right next to each other in terms of the calendar. So I'll do one more Europe trip this year, and I'll get to see Laurent and all of my friends that are going to be attending those. But with that, why don't we say goodbye to Laurent for now? Much love to you. Thank you so much for everything that you do and everything that you bring to the community. And we'll be welcoming up our featured guest now. Let's pull them into the conversation. I've got to click some buttons on my end. Moment. Right, here we go. Bastian, how are you doing, my friend?
Very well. How are you?
I'm great. Looks like, are you in transit or have you arrived and this is like the internet stable spot?
Side of my car. No, I parked. I'm at an event in Beverly Hills, and so I came to my car to have this conversation. So.
Oh, well, thank you for carving out time. I think it's kind of a lull, kind of fun to have my co-founder Venus do the introduction. So Venus, if you wouldn't mind introducing our featured guests and yeah, be a good hype man, like hype up Bastian. Let's make everybody super pumped about who we're going to be talking to for the next 20 or 30 minutes.
Let me think about that. Bastian Minetti. Okay, let me hype this properly. This is someone who has operated at the absolute top of the media and entertainment technology world. Former worldwide head of technology services at Amazon MGM Studios, which means content distributed to over 240 countries and IP libraries that include James Bond and Rocky. That is not a small thing. But what I find most interesting about Bastian is his philosophy. Technology serves creative intent, not the other way around. In a world where everyone is rushing to slap AI on everything and call it innovation, he asks a harder question. Does this actually serve what the creator is trying to make? He now works directly with founders, studios, and investors as a fractional CTO, and I think what he has seen from inside the machine at that scale gives him a perspective that very few people have. Bastian, genuinely thrilled to have you here. Welcome.
All right, good job, Venus. That was good hype. So yeah, I'm thrilled to have you. I think there's creators in our community that are like every stage of their journey. Some are just emerging talent. Some are very established that have been producing, work at a very, very high level for a very long time. And so whenever we have a featured guest, we always try to pull somebody in that's had a storied career, that's been there, that's has the scar tissue to prove all those hard learned lessons. And I think one of the things that's really cool about somebody like you is that you've been in the room where culture gets made. You've been part of productions that scale to a level that most creators can, barely imagine. And I'm curious, what's the most like creatively ambitious thing you've ever seen a production attempt, and what did it actually take to pull it off?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I think ultimately the most ambitious thing that I've seen attempted to be creative was really the Rings of Power series. When I first came to Amazon, when I was there, the first season I'd finished wrapping principal production, but was in the post-production phase and was looking to distribute all over the globe assets, pre-release assets in a way that had never been done before. Because we were Amazon and we were AWS, we had kind of strategically advantageous pricing on cloud infrastructure, but it didn't make it any easier to actually implement in the workflow. And so that creative ambition of the most talked about original production for the time period, because it was Amazon, a storied property that had a lot of fan eyeballs on it, and this really ambitious attempt to use the cloud in a native way where creatives all over the world, VFX, post-production, edit, color, everybody was working off cloud infrastructure, which had never been done at that scale before. And so that mechanizing those capabilities, understanding where it benefited other productions and how we could operationalize those things was very ambitious, because the scale of what we were doing didn't apply necessarily to all productions. But also keeping it secure, which is really the main thing, right? It had such high interest from hackers and people that were attempting to access it prior to its release. We were doing all these things in a very novel way, and every day was basically a new way of figuring this problem out. And all the meanwhile, making sure that the creatives that were in charge of it had ability to view it, ability to comment on it, and the ability to actually creatively move it forward without the technology getting in the way.
So, often technology can feel like a constraining force rather than an enabling force. What does it look like when you get that relationship right?
Oh, I think it becomes invisible, right? In essence, I think that there's this notion especially in premium content, that workflows are all standard and rubber stamped, and you can kind of repeat them, and they can be just repeated on every new show. And the reality is, even between seasons and between episodes of seasons, there's changes in the workflow that change how the creative looks at their content and how they get new ideas or get inspired by what's going on. And so technology, in my view, is done best when you don't know it's there, when in fact the creative is able to review everything they need to review in a way that doesn't require them to change anything about how they would normally check it out. If somebody's looking at it on their mobile phone via an email and that's the best way they want to look at it, then we have to be able to support that. And I think technology at scale needs to take that I guess that friction away from the creative.
A lot of creators struggle with fundraising, struggle with getting the resources they need to make their work. And you've been in the room where billion-dollar creative decisions get made. What are your insights, like across your careers? Like, try to boil it down to what separates projects that actually get made and actually get green lit and actually have people say yes and sign on the dotted line and write the check or whatever it is. What separates the projects that make it across that line with the ones that don't, that somewhere die in that process?
Yeah, I think from a creative perspective, it's really that the narrative speaks to multitudes of people rather than just maybe one decision maker or one group of people. It's that it actually, as the story gets repeated within the organization, people are like, oh, that's an interesting story. That's something that I want to be a part of and I want to contribute to. Even the technology team, for what it's worth, is interested in getting creativity out on the screen and getting it to people. And so I think the difference between ones that succeed and the ones that die are really a passion about the story that kind of resonates and also persists through these kind of multiple handoffs, especially at a major studio. There's all these different organizations that have a say on what gets made, unfortunately. And that's for reasons of cost and things like that. If you think of the major studio as a bank, the bank has multiple people writing off loans that they make, right? And so in essence, you have to make sure that the person who's making a decision about what gets made understands the creative vision and the narrative and the story that you're trying to tell, absent of budget, cost, et cetera, and the technologies involved.
since you're at this intersection that I love playing in, this is the intersection I've spent most of my life in, which is technology and creativity, technology and art, technology and storytelling. AI, it's changing fucking everything. What's your thoughts on how AI is currently being used in a way that you feel like is enabling creativity? Where do you think it's getting it wrong? Where do you think it's going? Does this completely rewrite the rules, or is it just another step in a long line of technological breakthroughs that the entertainment and art industry have had to ingest?
Yeah, I think AI really forces us and enables us to rethink the paradigms we thought we couldn't change before. And I think that's part of the message of some of these questions is around, there's a technical component of delivering a creative vision that was restricted by all these variables, not only the technology itself, but also the decision makers around those technologies and then the multitudes of those groups that can decide on it. AI removes all those barriers in a way that I think is really democratizing it for creators. What I think people are getting wrong is that there's a belief that it will generate the final frame. And there's a lot of people that are doing this, where the initial things that came out are generative AI tools that allow us to create something proximal of a final picture. And it looks the same from a 2D perspective, right? A frame looks like a frame. But what I think they're getting wrong is that it loses the human component of the storytelling pretty quickly. Most people can spot it. Most people lose emotional resonance with it pretty quickly. And I think what's going to change is how AI is used in the workflow to democratize the things that were formerly really expensive to do in a way that is an operating system, if you will. AI will become part of the operating system to reduce the costs of certain portions of the workflow. But it, in my view, won't be the one generating the final frame. I can tell you major studios aren't looking at it that way. The creators that they work with don't want that to happen. But what the AI will democratize the parts of the cost that was precluding things from being made in the first place. And I think as people are looking into technology, you don't have to become an editor, a colorist, and a VFX expert all in one. You can say, this is what I want. And if you are able to articulate yourself in a way with AI, you can have it generate a workflow that will work for you in a way that's using free tools or using things that are communities that will do the work for free, et cetera. And I think that connection point, AI will be able to help people kind of move past those friction points a lot faster.
This might be a good lead in then to the next set of questions, which is that you've transitioned from working with the major studios to working more with founders, and as a fractional CTO, I assume that AI is probably a big role in why you're making this shift to working with smaller teams, because I imagine that it's going to shift the power to enable people that are just inherently creative to have an outsized impact. Am I reading that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Being prior to my time at Amazon Studios, I used to run media operations for Deluxe, Technicolor, and Photochem, some of the bigger vendors in the space, right? Both creative and what we call media services, which is distribution to Netflix and things like that. And I found that every single time as a vendor, we were being asked to change a workflow to meet some new deliverable. The technology always got in the way. There was something that we couldn't do and then we couldn't articulate. Or we couldn't mobilize, let's say, to actually deliver that. With AI and how these major studios are looking at it, I think they're going to, in my view, retract back into going back to what they're strong at, which is raising money, and marketing good content, and getting out to the folks that want to watch it. But the middle part of the supply chain is completely redesigned. And I think ultimately there's a bunch of technologies that are out there and available now and or will be coming that can dramatically improve the ability and access to technology for the startup creatives, if you will, right? And so I think that part is what excites me, because I can help content getting made in that way outside of the traditional Hollywood system, right? And I think that part is something that we're going to see happen. We're already seeing the financials kind of shift towards creator economy and democratized content creation. And I want to be at the kind of the apex of that and helping folks deliver that on that promise.
Love it. And for those of you in our community who are watching that have a question for Bastian, we're going to open it up. You can put it in the chat on YouTube if you're watching there, and I will ask Bastian for you. But I've got a couple more questions for me that'll give you time to write your questions in. So, you know, like Artisan is built around this idea of funding human creativity, projects that are at the frontier of art, science, technology, culture. And as someone who's watched creativity get funded, built, and distributed at the highest levels, what do you wish more funders understood about what it actually takes to support creative work?
What I wish they understood more as a funder was that the ability for content to be seen by more people than even a theatrical release is possible now. We already see that, right? We see that at scale. And I think ultimately the ability to persist a narrative through to the final story and the final frames is something that, with passion, with creativity, with a good collaborative spirit, you know, to be able to work with different groups at different times, is what I think will have value. AI basically, to me at least, shot up the currency of community, right? The idea that community creativity is now much more valuable because it's going to cut through a bunch of noise, and the traditional supply chain restrictions and friction points can really just be looked past, right? You can distribute like you're doing now on a channel and get your story told. And now also the actual creativity tools are commoditized in a way that that never was before. And so I think the ability to render, compute, create, all that stuff is no longer limited. And what still remains at the core of that is a good collaborative spirit around a creative vision that resonates, right? And I think that part, funders, if they see that in projects, should totally fund it, should totally invest in it, because those things will come out on the other end and resonate with people in a way that I think that even the filtered process of the studio system could never create. And I think that's a superpower of the, you know, the creative organizations that, or the creative, you know, people that we have in the world today.
Beautiful. One of the questions that we got in the comments was exactly what you just answered. But I don't know if there's any like extra twist onto it, but they ask, in your opinion, what is currently the strongest angle for young storytellers to forge to get their stories told to the world in a big way? That's from Water Unity Networks, great community member. I feel like you've already answered it. I don't know if there's any other color you want to add to that.
I would just add, it's funny how, you know, the stories that get told end up being kind of, molded, and the lines and dialogue is, even I watch a lot of premium content, studio content, and the idea that some of these phrases and some of these words you've heard before, the story you've heard before. And I think the world is really craving new stories that have never been told before in a way that is, let's call it, the production value is very high, right? And I think ultimately, don't lose sight of that story. One of the comments I had is, you know, don't let the friction of making a movie prevent you from telling that story, you know, and just have to push through. Make sure that you're constantly going back to the passion around the thing that you just can't live without knowing that people don't know about, right? And I think just persisting through that is a skill set that all the other tools and capabilities will come to bear for you. Just keep pushing on that vision.
We got a question from Brooke from Tune In Show. They're one of our breakout successes this year. Somebody I think you'd love to connect with. They ask, I'm interested in hearing more about alternative distribution channels for content if you are self-financed. Yeah, love any thoughts for that. And there's sort of two things that creators are always struggling with. One is, how do I get my work funded? And then how do I get my work seen? So on the distribution side, you know, we're trying to solve the funding side, but on the distribution side, tell me, what are some alternative paths that you've seen work that you're excited about, that you've got faith in?
That's actually a really interesting question. I think it's so open that I would be distributing to all. I think there's been this notion of kind of singular channels where the audience maybe is tailored towards it. Like I take anime as a good example, right? The idea around specifically targeted channels around something that has a lot of volume of content, number one, but a very passionate fan base. And I would be just delivering to everywhere. I think the idea that that you have to be restrictive in that regard, I think is what kind of goes away with AI. You can say, AI, I want to distribute to these 15 different things. What specs and what format do I need to deliver to all those? And it will tell you all those things. And there's probably workflows out there that will deliver to all of them. So I would say not to limit, and to be as everywhere as much as possible. And I can tell you from working with marketing teams at the major studios, that's what they do, right? Yes, they'll target ad dollars and be very specific about which channels they spend in. But as a creator that isn't necessarily restricted by that. You should be distributing everywhere. You want your story told everywhere where somebody's going to pick it up and have that emotional resonance in a way. And I think what I think is particularly, I guess, possible now is tailoring messages towards the specific channel rather than tailoring the content, if you will. If you're gonna, there's different ways to show a video on Instagram than there is on TikTok and there is on some of these other channels, Vimeo, whatever it is. And I think what AI allows you to do is find the ways that work best. You ask it, what works best? What format of trailer or what format of teaser works best on this format? And it will tell you, because it has data to back it up. And then you can create something that actually resonates there rather than trying to restrict down or limit it. And I think that's a part of being open to those things is something that those barriers, again, don't exist anymore. So.
We've got one other question, and then we'll let you go, from E, who we'll be hearing from in a moment. She is another amazing creator in our community who runs Reset and Rise, which is a platform she's building online for sort of emotional, spiritual grounding that creative people often struggle with. She asks, what advice would you give to creators new to the media and content world, especially with increasing noise? What are the steps you'd take if you were to start from scratch?
I would have a long dialogue with any AI chat tool working backwards from a customer. And I think part of how we look at problem sets, especially in the creative world, is we understand the creative vision we're trying to tell. We have a very emotional connection to the story we're trying to tell, but all the other parts of it kind of get in the way and create friction. So what I would do is use AI as an assistant to tell you and have a dialogue with and ask it really questions that may sound stupid or may sound like obvious to folks, because I could tell you the things that you think that major studios think are obvious in terms of even technology or workflow or creative decisions are not obvious. And there's a bunch of debate. And what I think AI does is help you focus. So if you have an issue or are struggling with feeling overwhelmed by the fact that actually distributing it and getting it into people's hands is a problem, I would have just a long dialogue about it, upload some source files to it so it can actually read it, and it give you at least a very high confidence directional velocity that you wouldn't otherwise get. And you could ask, to me, that's the one of the bigger problems, that you can ask 15 different people how to distribute and they'll all give you different answers. What you need is a contextually relevant response to your specific situation. And so I think using that creativity to kind of say, here's the audience I'm trying to achieve, here's the channels I'm thinking of pursuing. Give me advice and dialogue back and forth on it, and have a real, basically free conversation to get that advice. And what it will do is it'll narrow it down for you in a way that makes it feel real and relevant and gives you a high confidence kind of foundation to move forward on. You ask somebody like me, I have a different opinion. You can ask a different technologist, they'll have a completely different opinion. But having a foundational, at least vision for it, the same way you would for your story, having a foundational vision for your workflow is helpful to kind of mark that as a completed box and then put those things together to actually deliver.
That's brilliant, man. Well, I'm so grateful that Wadua connected us. She's doing a fantastic job. I just want to give a big shout out to Wadua. She is the producer of these live streams. She's making my life like so much better. Every week I get to meet somebody from her network that she pulls in. I've got to loop her into my network too, so she doesn't have to just tap her own, but it's great for me because I get to meet new people like you. If you ever are working with a creator who's needing to raise money, I hope you'll think of Artizen. You got to witness the end of this week. Creators raised $1.2 million in the last 7 days. Wow. Go creators. Well done. Any closing words before we say goodbye, Bastian?
Man, I'm not big on closing words. I feel like I can. There was a question at the top that I thought we would get to, and maybe that's what I can close with. Is there's this belief that when you get into these major structures, that everybody's got it figured out, including the big studios, because there's so much money and velocity and people. There is this belief that there's a knowledge there to create and deliver vision better than. And I want to let everybody know, if I had to tell them anything, it really doesn't exist, right? Everybody's got different points of view. Everybody's got different ways on how to get to an end vision. And we all, even the folks of us that aren't necessarily creative, love to see creative vision get out and get out to the world and new stories being told. And so I think as best I can say is always be a good collaborator, whether it to me is with AI or with other folks as well, right? But be a collaborator to the point where you understand your own deficiencies in a particular process and get help to make it whether it's, again, funding or workflow or distribution or whatever it is, and persist, because the world is craving these new stories. I really do believe that we're in a golden era of narrative. We're in a golden era of having old Hollywood structure not dictate the panacea and the culture anymore. And it's a really exciting time to be I think a creator that can deliver that and that has a unique voice.
Good note to end on. Open invitation. If you ever got something that you want to promote, to share, to create some hype around, like, welcome to come back. We've got an amazing community of creators all around the world working at the frontier of art, science, technology. Feels like your people. I am anointing you. You are now a honorary artisan. Welcome to the community.
Thank you so much.
Hope to have you back in the future.
Thanks so much for having me on, and hopefully if there's some more like technical answers or things like that, maybe for next time I can prepare as well. So a little more.
Oh yeah, and how can people get in touch with you or connect or follow what you're doing?
I guess LinkedIn is probably the best spot to find me. I'm on Bash Community. I have kind of a bigger presence there, and kind of my network of kind of having worked 20 years in the industry. I started in film originally, cranking original negative and things like that for the major productions, and so the idea of that network of people that were in the old workflow, that are still in the business and that are still wanting to see these things get made, are part of that. So you find me there on LinkedIn, and I can connect otherwhere as well. My website for my consulting practice is Ovion Solution Studio, and I'll send a link out if you guys like. So
brilliant. Well, again, bless you for taking the time. I see Wadua's beautiful face here, so maybe she can come in and just say a quick hi to you, a quick hi and bye.
Bastion, I'm just over here smiling. I just love the conversation, and just thank you for taking us from your car.
Thanks for inviting me, and it was a great chat. Hopefully it was helpful and in some way inspirational.
Yeah, people were loving you in the comments for sure. So you should go back and check it out.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. Be well, my friend.
Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Wadua, how are you feeling? This is a good moment to call out the boost code. We're in the tail end of today's showcase, so you've made it. The boost code is DUQCTJ. So if you are a creator or a fund admin who has access to the Grow app, this is the code to type in to get your 20,000 boost points. Well, I'm going to leave this up here for a second, and I can give you guys an announcement. A couple announcements, and then we'll get Wadua's reaction. We'll just make ridiculous faces to whatever I say. One of the reaction or things that you can react to is that our new fund drive is up. The Flywheel Fund Drive is live, and so it's game on, guys. 6 days, 23 hours, 30 minutes, and 51 seconds. We will be awarding our next batch of money, and we've got prizes. The first place prize for projects is $80,000. The second place prize is 40. The third place prize is 20. And we're not seeing it yet because nobody's bought anything. But if I start voting a little bit, we'll start seeing prize money show up. So this gives us a better thing to look at. I think maybe I need to refresh. Anyways, that's the prize money for projects. What's on the line is 80,000 for first place, and second place is 40,000, and third place is 20. And for funds, it's 64, 32, and roughly 15 for first, second, and third. And of course, every fund and every project gets some prize money. But the other thing that I'm excited about, I'm not sure it's entirely live yet. I'm not seeing the UI in here, but Nate, my co-founder, the human one, not the AI one, has been hard at work with our friend from the Juicebox RevNet open source smart contract team, Django. They've been hard at work on getting the art token reintegrated and launched and live, as well as the mechanic of having the art tokens that you own give you boost points. And so the first version of that is will be, it doesn't look like it's live yet, will be live later today. Nate promises. So let's see Wadua's like shocked face. Amazing.
What? I've been sitting on these art tokens.
I know they're gonna start doing things, and I'm really excited. Maybe this week, maybe next week. Part of what Django has been working on is a in the crypto parlance, it's a staking contract, but it's basically a way for you to take the art tokens that you own and to lock them up. And when they're locked up, that's really going to be when you're earning these boost points. We'll have like a week or two, no longer than that, where it's a little hand wavy. We'll just look at how much you have in your wallet. But moving forward, you'll have to actually lock them up and commit to, for at least a week, not selling them. And that'll be the thing that that gives you a streak. And the other game mechanic that we're really excited about is that this opens up the ability for us to increase the amount of boost points you get the longer you've been holding your art tokens. So when you own them in your wallet and then you lock them up in this contract, we'll be able to prove that you've been owning these art tokens for n number of days or n number of weeks, and to layer on fun games on top of that.
So it's like
those are two. It's kind of like interest. Yeah. Yeah, it's interest. And we have built it. This will be a fun thing. Maybe Laurent will weigh in, or maybe the people that are a little bit more crypto native. Again, we're trying to build all this in a way that, like, if you don't give a shit about crypto, you don't need to. But one of the things that often is part of this is that you can earn interest in the native token art. And we're still on the fence about whether we're doing that. We may or may not, but we're definitely doing it with sort of our in-game currency of boost points. And that'll be what we're really focusing on. Is the basic idea is that if you want boost points, you can either earn them through doing things through the Grow app, or you can earn them by owning art tokens. And the longer you own your art tokens and hold them, the more boost points you'll get. And then it's on us to think of more fun things to do with those boost points, to have a bigger role in the game mechanic.
Now you just need your little laugh.
And I also see that Snehal just joined us. And they were our last presentation. I wasn't sure if we were going to get to them because they weren't here, but now they're here. Hello, my friend.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Why don't we say goodbye to Wadua for now, and we'd love to have you be our final presenting creator before we pull in E to take us home with her normal end of show send off. So you were a breakout success in season 6. You raised some money. I'd love to get a progress update on your project. Do you have any slides that you want to share?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, let me pull that up. I'd love to learn about what you're doing with the money that you got and what you're doing with the money that you're raising now, and tell us more about your project in general.
Yeah, so we've raised some money and we're still trying to raise more. We've actually moved ahead with the production. We didn't wait for the funds to actually do the project. So I just borrowed some money and went ahead and did it. And then we're slowly paying back the borrowed funds as we raise money, which is great. And we're taking care of bills that are still outstanding. Our film is a short film, 20 minutes long, and it's really timely because it's about a young financial trader that's struggling with a sports betting app addiction, and it's leading her to do some interesting things during lunch at her job. And you find out that she does this day after day, and then figure out what she's doing eventually on day 4. So it's a very tight script. It's a great film. It's been a lot of fun to get here so far. We think it's timely because there's a lot of stuff going on in terms of betting online in general and betting apps and how the regulations have changed recently, and we're seeing it all over the place. We don't yet know the effects of it or how it's changing people's lives. Certainly that's yet to be seen. So we're kind of making a guess as to what's happening or what's going to happen in the near future, because it is going to affect a lot of people's lives, and there will be a lot of losses and people getting hurt from these kinds of things as well. So we kind of wanted to highlight a story that's also based on reality. So there were true events that happened. The crazy thing that she does eventually in the film in the 3rd act is something that actually has been done before, and we've seen it before, and there's been news stories about it. So the act itself is based on true events. We have an actress, Sharmita Bhattacharya, that we worked with. She was fantastic. We had a really great time. We did do production, so we shot already. And we shot for 3 days, and we shot all over LA, and we had some permits for the streets, and we stole some shots in the subway, but we made the film happen, and with a lot of locations and a lot of moves, and we moved very quickly, but we had 12-hour days. So it was a lot of fun to work with everybody, and everyone just knew what they were doing. We spent a good 2.5 to 3 months doing pre-production and really planning everything out. I myself co-wrote the film. with a guy that also is an actor in one of the scenes, and then my cinematographer I've worked with before with commercials, and we really just get along really well, and we were able to create, this project together, really working as a team. So we did a 3-day shoot. It was a SAG short project agreement. We got the camera and lens package were my own. I own the Alexa. I own the T21 lens that we used, which is from the 70s. And we pulled favors and got like an office location for free. We got really good deals on, bank location, apartment location. Just had to look for deals and people willing to cooperate. And we really had a lean team, only 10 people person crew. So very small footprint, and we were able to get a lot of stuff done. We had some AI integrations, which is one of the reasons why I've been working with Artizen, and why I think this community is very exciting is, as a filmmaker, I've started integrating AI as soon as I could. When we're making independent projects, as long as it's legal, I'm going to use the tool. And I just really don't have moral quandary about it, because either we're doing it the old way where we kind of figured it out anyways and had to kind of use stuff that existed already and modify it. Instead, we're able to create new things. And I think that's really where AI is really helpful. For example, two key things that we did in camera is we didn't do any green screen. So any content that you see on the screens, she's a stockbroker working in an operating trading office. There's a lot of software involved in trading, and a lot of UI and a lot of looks that should look familiar to you when you see it. And we were able to create these UIs, generating them in AI. And also the phone app that we're using as the basis of her addiction, that also is a integrated, using software generation. Basically, we generated a UI that worked, and we were able to put story points that went along with our story into these integrations, so that we got the exact, look, story point, meaning, message that we wanted to for the different parts of the script. I also used AI with ChatGPT and Google's assistant Gemini as well to do script coverage, production scheduling, budgeting, feedback in general during the pre-production process. We developed the script since January, so this has been like an 8-month process. So we really took our time and did it right. I just kept asking for feedback the whole time. It's just a good sounding board to have. And you also got to interact with humans and work with them. But this was, I think, a great way for an independent project that doesn't have big money to get somewhere faster when it comes to scheduling, when it comes to scripting and things like that. In post-production, right now, we have locked the edit. We've locked the color. Actually, the music composition is getting there. We're like maybe a third to halfway done with the music composition, and sound mix is starting this week as well. We will be finished by the 25th of August. So we're getting everything done. We're really like trying to go as quick as possible. We're paying our bills as we go along. And our festival strategy is to get into the top 10 festivals. We want to get into Oscar qualifiers. I've been there before with a previous project called Stucco. I was the executive producer of, but now I'm going as a director and producer. I know the game. I know how to get in. We are going to do well with this film. We just got to get as many awards as possible so that we can get a feature. Because at the end of the day, we're doing this so we can make feature films. I want to show that, give me a little bit of money, and I'm going to give you a really big world. And I think that's what we did with this project. So Artizen, Renee, everybody involved, Venus, thank you so much for your support. It all means a lot. I just want to say that the last, round, the last season, we were able to pay some of our post-production bills. So now any money we're raised, we're now paying back money we already borrowed. So we're going to keep going until we can get to our cap if we can, because,
Fuck yeah. Well, guess what?
this stuff is expensive, but art's expensive.
It is. Yeah. Filmmaking, when you're doing anything with atoms, it gets very expensive. Software, interestingly, is, at the limit going to zero. But things in atoms is lagging behind. I think it'll go there as well. I think, we're going to live in the age of abundance, which is a good segue to, you are going to get into Sundance. I am manifesting it right now. And partly because we're going to see each other there. We're celebrating the end of season 7 at Sundance in Boulder, Colorado. They're moving it from Park City to Boulder. And Kevin Owocki, who's one of our investors and is the leader in sort of the Regen GitHub or Gitcoin universe, he and I are co-hosting events called Abundance. Get it instead of
Oh, that's
Sundance,
awesome.
abundance.
Abundance. I
And
love it.
so I think it's manifest destiny. We're going to make it happen. You raised $7,000 last season. You've got a goal of what this season?
I want to raise at least 10 this season.
Okay, well, I think you can blow that out of the water. I just put in $50 and you unlocked 100 in addition to that. So keep going. That puts you currently in the #1 position for this weekly fund drive. So like hold that. And if you do, you'll be getting 80K. So, you know, push it, buddy.
I'm going to push it. This is the
All
time.
right.
This is the time.
This is the moment.
Yeah.
This is your moment.
We got some
All right.
excitement. Nice. I love it.
Well, with that, why don't we say goodbye, and we're going to move to our last segment with E. Goodbye. So grateful to have you here. Thank you for presenting your
Yes.
amazing project.
Thanks.
All right. And let's pull in my bud, E. Hello, E. How are you doing, love?
I'm doing so well. How are you? How's your jaw?
Well, it's the first day that I don't have to wear a big bandage, but you can see it's still fucking oozing out of my face. I have this little towel that I've been like, you know, sopping up the pus. They said that it's best to not have a bandage on it, and since I'm in black and white, like you couldn't tell. But it's it doesn't hurt anymore. I'm also on pain meds, and I think the new antibiotics are really working. I do want to give like a big shout out to Vrushal. Vrushal is one of our top creators. He was playing, I think, Ultimate Frisbee like I play, and he fucking pulled, like he like broke a tendon in his leg, went to get surgery, and now he's dealing with a massive infection in his leg, and he's in the hospital still, and he's got a high fever. So I think we should all send Vrushal a bunch of love, a bunch of healing energy. Also, Jakob, I don't know what's up with him, but he sent me a picture the other day that he's in the hospital, who's another community member with some sort of infection on his jaw. And we both have very like strong jaw lines. So I think there's something that's like a you know, some hazard of having like strong jaw lines. That's just, you know, it's like out there too much, and it's just gonna
The
get fucked
cost
up.
you pay for good looks. That's it.
Yeah. We're just doing cosmetic surgery, and we're calling it like an infection. And that's what the bandages are for. But E, are you excited about the future? Are you excited about this moment? Are you excited about tomorrow with the whatever session you have planned for us? Like give us the juice. What's going on in your universe? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Like, I'm so grateful for Artizen. We're getting our funding from last season. It's such a relief moment. Oh my God, I couldn't sleep.
It's
like,
real. The money
it's
shows
real.
up.
And I know it has been real. All my friends have received it, but now I can like shout the top of stand on the roof, be like, I can speak from my own experience. And yeah,
this is so hard to do this many payouts at scale without having money go to any like scam projects, which our investors are like, not all of them, but the ones that are engaged are up my ass about making sure that we have like trust and safety, and that the money that, you know, they and other people have put into the endowment are going to real projects. And I'm trying really, really hard to figure out how do we scale, not only for now, but how do we scale to the next 10x, so that I have some process in place that I have confidence in, that, you know, instead of doing, you know, roughly 1,200 payouts that we're doing for season 6 and season 7, I want that number to be 10x. I want to do 10,000 payouts. And how do you scale that? How do you scale that? It's really hard. You have to have a process that's thought through. And one of the things that I'm pumped about, just for those of you in our community, is we're trying to turn it into a positive, where it's not just this sort of like proctology exam as a creator to prove that you're doing it, but it's really an opportunity to highlight the good work that you're doing. And so we're going to do two things with that. One is that we're going to be publishing essays for every single project that we do a payout for. We're going to be publishing a beautiful essay that really goes into depth about who you are, you know, what you're working on, the real impact that you're having in the world. And then we're also working with Nico Casavecchia, who, another great creator, been at Sundance. We'll be at Sundance this year, hopefully, with a project. He is working with Jonesy in this sort of ad agency, but they're really better than an ad agency. That's selling them short. We're working with them on creating an automated pipeline to create beautiful video essays for each project as well. And we're working with another creator in our community named Michael, who's an expert in growing YouTube channels. And he's going to help us take these video essays and grow a real audience with our YouTube channel. So anyways, that's what I'm excited about.
I love that. Yes, as someone who is really shy about self-promoting, I really need all the help I could get. And I imagine I'm not alone. There are other creators out there who really want more highlights and want support with sharing their work with the world. And so, yeah, I love it. It's like a win-win that you get to validate the projects are really making big difference, as well as giving them a spotlight and supporting them in sharing their work with the world. Yeah, it's a great idea. Yeah, celebrating you. And then also, I have no doubt you'll figure out how to 10x. And you're like that. You like the venture.
Oh my God. You don't understand how hard it is. Like, you think that like compounding at 3 to 5% a week is like, that's not a big number. It's so hard. Like literally every day I sit up and I look at our metrics and I either feel great if we're like ahead of last week, or I feel like absolute dog shit if our numbers are trailing. It's the most psychotic thing to tie your mental like wellness to, which is why I'm so grateful that we have people like you, because we need people like you to ground people like me. And maybe that's a good transition to plug what you're going to be doing tomorrow, and then lead us in some session to close today's live stream.
Totally. It's a great upstream like thing. So one other thing I want to celebrate is like the percentage consistency growth is like, that's when we think about it, minus inflation, that's usually average how the stock market grows every year. But you're trying to do that on the week. Just think about the scale of everyone is a snail, and then you're like speeding up. So
we live in the age of exponentials. And Paul Graham has a great definition of what a startup is. And it's really just growth. Like, that's what's different about a startup from, an established anything. It's just that it's, if you're growing at 3 to 5%, you will be very big in a short period of time. And if you're not, you're going to trend towards death. And so I think all of us who are trying to create new things, you don't have to be as maniacal as me about tracking that stuff, but growth really should be the goal. Like, you should, like, if you want your ideas to survive and to thrive in the world, you do need to have a growth mindset. You need to be thinking about how does this continue to grow every day, every week, every month, every year? How does this become bigger, more impactful, better? How does this serve people? But there's other dimensions of growth too. It's not just about money. It's about, how you grow as a human. And that's what I love about you, because, you're working on a platform that will continue to grow in terms of revenue and users engaged with it, but it's also helping people grow as humans. And so with that, I will shut up and let you fully take the stage.
Sure. So first of all, for those who know Reset and Rise, we are providing all the subconscious and the emotional work of support, and then bringing together world-class facilitators like Hannah, connected, and her partner Danny is amazing breathwork facilitator, and we have Linda, who's also an Artizen on sound healing, and last week we have Michelle Masters, who created Money Magic, who's been doing this work for 30 years, who's world famous, and who's just a friendly favor and love to join and facilitate for us. And a lot of our creators got to have identity shifts. And my dream. And so, yes, so Renee just highlighting the link, go and sign up. And he's so generously provided this resource for community. And one other thing I want to highlight is that I think for Reset and Rise, when you're talking about growth, one key element that we're identifying is that now we want to use our technology to help organizations 10x. And not from the external. It's a lot of you get the external down, you know what you're doing, but if you tried everything else and you're stuck, the chances are there's something internal that are keeping us stuck there. And so that's what we're working on, is that we're creating all the inner technology while you build the external technology to grow your organization. And we want to provide the inner technology to support your growth. And with that, there's a whole month. My cat Toothless is like wanting all the love right now. So this whole month, our theme is money, is abundance. And so actually I want Renee to come back if you're open. We're going to play a game. This is a preview of what we're going to do tomorrow. We're going to play a lot of connection games. We're going to do it with creators in the community. But today with Renee and I want to invite everyone watching to think about, like, what question do you have about to money? If you can talk to money right now, like a lot of us are raising money and trying to generate revenue, and you need money to run your life. Like what question do you have for money? If money is sitting right in front of you, what do you want to say to money? And what are you curious and how money want to respond? Please share in the comment. And because what Renee and I are going to do in the last like 2-3 minutes is we're going to bring in the energy of money. So we get to turn into money and we get to respond to your questions. It's a little preview of one of the games we'll get to do tomorrow. And you may get to be money as well tomorrow if you come and sign up. Just go to artizen.link/events.
So those of you watching, make a comment in the YouTube channel about what questions you'd ask for money, and E and I are turning into money and we get to answer you.
Great.
Let's see if we have any questions. And if not, maybe you play the role of money and I ask questions, or vice versa if we're not having any questions in the
role of
comments.
money, and then tomorrow we'll guide people into like how to actually bring the energy of money.
Okay, we got the first one. You can take it whichever way you want. Whom does the Grail serve? Interesting question for money.
What does Grail mean?
I don't like the Holy Grail. That's what I think of. I don't really know what it means.
What that meant?
Like Indiana Jones and the search for the Holy Grail. It was like I don't know, the cup that you drink out of to have eternal life.
As money, I'm not familiar with the concept of Grail. That feels like a human invention. And so I invite you to ask the question differently. And I see the next question as money is like, how do you want to be treated?
Yeah,
and
how do you want to be treated?
Money, I'm a form of life energy. I'm just a form of energy. And humans make it complicated. It makes me dirty, makes me bad, and you push me away. I don't like being pushed away. I don't like being made bad. Because I am neutral. I am ethically neutral. I can be used to do really ethically human bad things or humanly good things. It's up to you. But I inherently am not dirty or bad or good for that matter. I am just a form of life energy and I want to give to you. So I want to be treated like you're ready to receive me.
I like that. We got a second part to that question. What kind of relationship is the most harmonious to have with you, money?
It's humans' relationship with me can be really complicated because again, I'm a form of life energy, just like a lot of us have really complex relationship with life. You have as complicated relationship with me as with life. So you get entangled and you get resentful towards me and you love me and you hate me. And so the most harmonious relationship, you got to examine what's your relationship with life in general, with yourself. There's all parts of you that some parts wants more of me, some parts push me away. That's where conflict arises because you're not even harmonious within yourself about having a relationship with me. So think about if you go on a date with me or you want to be in a relationship and date me and parts of you want to beat me up and part of me want to love on me and it's not going to be a good relationship. So you got to be at peace with how you want to be with me.
I like that. We got another one. Money, how can I receive you from good, non-extractive sources and be applied in regenerative ways?
Oh, I love that question. What I'm seeing is that, first of all, this whole current human system is set up in a way that is no way to do it perfectly. So you're part of a system that have a lot of extractive sources and not regenerative to start with. And so my first invitation is to be gentle with yourself and to know that it's to let go of the idea of perfection and to start from somewhere and then follow your North Star, and finding that once you are peace with yourself, first of all, there are parts of us inside of you, inside of the system that's extractive. And so make some peace with those areas and experiences within yourself, so that you're not recreating that pattern outside of you. And from that place of peace and harmony inside of you, there's more opportunity to create, because I am a collaborator with you. I'm an amplifier of energy. I amplify whatever that's already there. And so how can you make peace with even the things that you've received that may be extractive? And I get to amplify whatever peace and regenerative energy that you are creating within you and outside of you.
We've got maybe 3 or 4 questions in the chat, but I think we should just do one more and save these questions for tomorrow when people actually come
together. Yes.
So this is a good one to end on, just because
tomorrow.
I think it's a fun short one. And would you rather be held or given away if it were your choice? Money. Would you rather be held on to money, or would you rather be given away money?
It's neither. I like to flow. It's a give and take. I'm a life energy. If you, just like a puddle of water, if you just hold me somewhere and hostage, I'm gonna go stale. I don't like that. I like to move around. And so how can you get me to move? Because again, I'm an amplifier. I'm not just sitting there and do nothing, but rather I'm here to amplify whatever energy that's there. Just like life, I'm here to help seeds grow, but I'm also help. I'm just amplifying a lot of energy. So move around, both in giving away and receiving. Oh, I don't know if I'm frozen or Renee is frozen. Okay, internet. All right, maybe it's just me. Okay, before we wrap up for today's session, I don't have host control, but thank you all for joining us this week. I'm gonna answer one more question. Hopefully Renee can come back during that time as energy, as the host, and I'm gonna answer one more question. How can I love you without losing myself in you? So as money, how can you love me without losing yourself? And to me, it's like any relationships. What's true about you, and why do you want me in the first place? Because a lot of people want me just to have me, and that doesn't work. Just like I'm here to amplify you. What do you want to create? And what is your vision in life? What's your path? What are you here to make a difference for? And from this place, how can you create? And so rather than just hoarding me and wanting the idea of me, is that what do you want me to help you amplify and create together? And so that we can be more original to you, and what's really authentic to you, and I'm here to amplify that. And looks like, yeah, where is Renee? Okay, I'm gonna. Okay. Thank you all. Oh, Renee is back. Awesome. We answered another question. You're back.
Totally died. I'm hotboxing, not hotboxing. What do you call it? I'm getting it off my phone now. So I'm gonna let this be the end. Thank you so much for everything you do. I'm excited to see you tomorrow at Reset and Rise. That link to RSVP again is artisan.link/events, and you'll see the thing tomorrow. Boost code one more time, DUQCTJ. And with that, we'll say goodbye to E. Much love.
Much love. Bye, friends. See you tomorrow.
And I always love having Venus give our final word, as she is our CEO and will be our fearless leader. She already is in many ways. So Venus, maybe you could give your final thoughts on today's live stream, Artizen Live number 86, and the Tailwind Fund Drive that we just closed. 1.4 million raised for creators. Not bad.
1.4 million raised for creators. That is not nothing. That is everything. What moved me most today was Yishan channeling money as life energy, as something that wants to flow and amplify and be in relationship. That is exactly what this platform is built on. Every artifact sale, every match dollar unlocked, every boost, it is all money in motion, moving toward people who are making real things in the world. To every creator who hustled this week, who sent the emails, ran the war rooms, rallied their communities, you did that. The leaderboard reflects your courage and your relationships, not just your resources. And to everyone watching, if today sparked something in you, come back tomorrow for Reset and Rise with Yishan. The link is artisan.link/events. Your inner work and your outer work are not separate things. Today proved that. See you next week. Much love.